Atlanta, a show which has won 2 Emmys, and it is set in the titular Atlanta area, and it features Donald Glover. Yeah, we best know him from Community, which he left before the series ended. He plays, I mean, it'd be fair to say, a dropout, a down and out. I mean, he's living with his girlfriend, but he's not, doesn't appear to be too welcome. And he finds out that his cousin is quite an up-and-coming rap star called Paperboy.
I've been singing that song all day.
Paperboy,
talking about the Paperboy.
I wish you could do that throughout the whole of this review. Well done.
I will do. It just quietly in the background. I'll do.
Yeah, thank you. And Paperboy is quite this kind of like. He even admits halfway through the show that he kind of hates the Paperboy song. You know, he's kind of already over it.
Paperboy.
Yeah, thank you. And basically, in the first episode, it kind of goes in a circle. So you start with the end scene where Paperboy punches some bloke for knocking his mirror off his car, and you end up back at that scene at the end of the episode. Matt sent me an email saying, you might want to watch this one with subtitles, and I wish I'd watched it.
Because I know you.
Yeah, I wish I had watched it after that, but I didn't. And I actually still enjoyed it quite a lot. The whole thing was more situational than laugh-out-loud comedy. I think that would be fair to say. What's very difficult is the language. There is a lot of slang, and I did find that hard. But I did find the characterization very interesting. It seems like a show where you're going to get more good characters coming in and out.
Yeah.
So it's more of a character-driven show than a storyline show.
I think it's more of an idea-driven show than a character-driven show or a story show, actually. I think it's written by Donald and his brother Stephen. He knows everybody, long-time friends with most of the people in the cast. So I think they like to play about with what they can do with it. And John... Who did we meet, Matt? John... That's going to bug me.
Landgraf?
No, John Landgraf. Yes, sorry. Sorry, I heard the word. John Landgraf. I heard it in my headphones. Didn't realise it was your voice. I think in your voice. So yeah, we sort of saw John Landgraf, head of FX, which is the channel this is on in the States, talk in Edinburgh a few years ago. And he just sort of lets people get on with... He tells people what he'd want and he hears about how they're getting on. But for the most part, he sort of lets people make the shows they want to make. You can tell with this and with other things like Better Things with Pamela Adlon and You're the Worst and The Americans to an extent. I enjoyed this more than Matt. We've already spoken. And I agree that sometimes the grammar and the language is a bit over my head. But for the most part, I think it's really warm and inviting and I just like the world. And although he is a bit of a loser and a bit down on his luck, he's not like a sitcom loser who just everything touches,
I didn't really know how to describe him at the beginning because he is the sort of typical deadbeat American, kind of deadbeat, he hates his job, doesn't have any prospects, but that really kind of only lasts like 5 minutes in the first episode.
Yeah. But I asked Matt while Gary was busy writing his blues record to watch episode 7, which is done in a talk show format, where even the adverts in between the talk show are bits of the show. I found that really creative and inventive and very funny in parts, because it's Paperboy dealing with transgender issues and a 45-year-old black guy who identifies as white, which is really funny. And I was surprised by how much I like it. It doesn't happen very often, but I'll shut up now.
I don't think I'm as into it as you two are. I'm not quite sure what it is. I just didn't really connect with any of the characters, really. I think Donald Glover is a good performer. There just wasn't anything really to sort of hook me on this, if it makes sense. And I did enjoy more the episode, episode 7, because it was a little bit different, but still, I wasn't invested in the world, I think, as much as certainly Luke was, and I think Gary. Are you going to keep watching it?
I think I will. The BBC Two are doing double headers. Is it Sunday night or Monday night?
Sunday night.
Sunday night. So, I think there's a room for this. As you said, Luke, there's not really anything you can kind of link it to and say, this is like that. You can't say this is like something else.
Well, there are other indie comedies made, but they normally I like the characters, but they don't make me laugh. Whereas this had bits in it that I laughed at.
I didn't find the only line that made me laugh. I've told you already is the Flow Rider thing.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
I like the bit in the second episode where the security guard's trying to get him to take a picture with him. He's like, go, stand back to back.
Yeah, that was quite funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I always enjoy those.
I liked the whole scene in the prison, because I just thought that was just that tension, and it was quite nice, and the people looking around and. Yeah. I don't know.
I think you can tell it comes from a place.
Yeah, no, I got that, but it wasn't a place that I particularly. It was somewhere that he felt comfortable in, and you could tell there was a genuineness to it, but it wasn't something that I particularly identified with.